you how many suggestions we have, and then you just pick a number.
For sure.
And then we just kind of go. And then after, I like to like find out how people got into improv.
Cool.
Probably not, won't do any like, so in that scene breakdowns. I feel like those are fun, but I'm not a big fan of like going back and rehashing scenes.
Oh, of course,
really.
yeah.
So
Sounds good.
let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3. Oh, all right. So pick a number between 1 and 22.
Oh boy. You know what? Let's go with my number in baseball, 7.
What position did you play?
I play center field, and I'm a backup shortstop / third baseman. Yeah.
Are you playing? Have you been playing since you've been in LA at all? Have you found?
I have, yeah. Actually, Ron West has a team, and so I've been playing for his team. And Matt Barham occasionally plays with us. Rick Hall, and yeah, it's a fun group.
Is it like fast pitch?
No, softball. It's an old man league. Yeah. Our first baseman is 83 years old. So yeah.
I remember the first time I got to LA, my buddy Sean Monahan, who's also an improviser, said, "Do you want to come sub on this team? We need an extra player." I'm like, "Sure." And my kid's mom at the time was like, "Where are you going?" I go, "Oh, I'm going to play. It's 16-inch softball." And she goes, "Well, last time you played a sport, broken ribs?" I go, "It's softball. I'm not gonna." And then I come back during the game. Somebody threw a ball to me, no contact, nothing. I caught it and like messed up my finger and had to go get my finger like. I mean, it's softball, so you're gonna screw your fingers.
Yeah. Oh, it's insane. It's insane. And the crazy part is that I've discovered since I came down here is like the competition level for casual softball leagues down here, way bigger than Canada.
Really?
Oh yeah, well, because like the last league I was playing with in Toronto was the Toronto Comedy Softball League, which is like, Comedy Bar, Second City, and like a couple other venues have their own teams, and we just play every Saturday. And we basically book a field from like 10 in the morning straight through to like 5 in the afternoon, which is amazing. And we all have jerseys and everything like this. But yeah, it's all mainly just to have excuses to smack talk each other. But then you come down here and it's like, oh no, these are like, college player rejects that are coming out to take it out on 60-year-old men. So yeah, it's interesting.
I remember we had this guy on our team, Billy Phelan, and he was like Division III baseball. So he gets up there and he shows up. He's wearing like cargo shorts, like a fisherman's hat, and he's like totally white men can't jump in people. And he gets up there and he's just like he just crushes it. But yeah, there's a certain level of like competition for sure, where people just don't want to give it up. They don't want to give up those days gone by, no matter how old they get.
Oh God, no. Yeah.
Ron's good too. Ron's a good softball player.
Ron's great. Yeah. Ron's phenomenal.
Well, our suggestion comes from the mayor of Improv. His name's Mark Turpin. He's over in the UK, and it's Playground Wars.
Okay.
Great. Playground Wars. All right. Playground Wars. Thanks, Mark.
So,
yeah.
So we're doing this today, right?
Dude, I am freaking out. I didn't think it would come. I mean, I knew it would come. I knew today would come. Like that's a statement that just makes like little sense. I knew it would come, but I didn't. It's here, man.
I can't, like, you know what? Today is the day we're going to change everything. Okay. We are no longer going to be pushed around by the third graders. All right. I am sick and tired of them having solitary reign over the monkey bars. I am sick and tired of being pushed off the slide and told it's not my time to swing.
Petey, it's just us. Nobody else showed up.
You know what? I get it. I know you're nervous. I know you're scared. Okay, but listen.
Talk me down.
Every revolution starts with a small voice in a tiny room. Okay? Think about it. Think of every major moment in history. It started with one person, sometimes two.
Yeah.
Okay? We just have to find ways to get people to join us in this fight, because we can no longer be victims of the third grader. They're looking at us. They're looking. Listen, do you want to be pushed around for the rest of your life? Do you want them to tell you how to dress and what to eat at lunch?
I mean, part of me says no, but part of me is like, well, the decision then is made if they tell me what to do it. So I'm struggling between the two. I want to have freedom of choice. I really do, but there's a lot of pressure as well.
Damn it, Jimmy, get it together. Get it together. Listen to me. A life that is dictated by others is not a life well lived. We need to fight for what we know is true. And that is us. We need to fight for us. We need to have a voice in this playground, okay? You need to pick yourself up by your SpongeBob overalls, and you need to man up.
Attention. Attention. Attention, fellow elementary school students at Pierre Trudeau Middle School. I am here to say that we are no longer going to be pushed around by anybody. You might think that today is the day that things are the same, but I'm telling you something. Today is the day that things change. Oh God! Oh God!
Oh, Jimmy! Oh,
my eye! Oh, my eye!
You know what? I'll see you at lunch, Jimmy.
No, where you go? No, you got my eye. They got me in the eye.
I know.
I can't see, Petey. Petey, I can't see.
Jimmy, it's okay. It's okay. Jimmy, listen to me. Listen to me, okay? You did a great thing right there. You exercised your voice, right? Sure, you're half blind now, and I get it. That isn't ideal.
You might think that that's gonna keep me down.
Yeah.
But all that's gonna do is make me stronger. Oh God.
Oh, Jimmy. God. Oh. Was it the other eye? It was the other eye, wasn't it? Yeah.
Ah, baby.
Yeah.
You can keep throwing rocks at the man, but the man is gonna keep rocking your throws.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is, Jimmy.
I am no longer gonna sit here and be made a fool of.
Yeah.
My name is Jimmy Quaid. And you go, God.
Oof, that one actually, I think one of the teachers threw that one.
Oh God.
Okay, Jimmy, I'm starting to think, maybe this isn't the revolution that we thought it was going to be. Maybe we just have to wait until we're older. You're still conscious, aren't you? Yeah. Oh, that's a lot of blood.
I have not yet begun. Oh God.
Oh God. Okay, Jimmy, just stay down. Maybe, I mean, we've tried, okay? Not every revolution is successful, that's something else we can pull from history, is that, maybe today's just not our day, and by ours, I mean yours.
Petey.
God. Yeah.
Petey.
Yeah.
You know what follows a failed revolution?
What?
A successful one.
Okay.
My dad.
Oh God. Oh, Petey. Okay, Petey. I could. Oh God, I can see your bone. Oh God. Oh God. I'm not good with
Petey.
I'm not.
Petey, you look flat. Petey, you look real pale. At least I think you look pale. I can't see. You sound pale, buddy.
Yeah, I've got the pale voice. Oh
God.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh God. Oh, you can see all the bone on the other side.
How does it look? How's it look?
No, it's not. Oh, Petey. I'm Petey. I can't even. Oh, Jimmy. Oh no, Jimmy. You know, let you know what? Hey, I've got an idea. You know, how about you? You just maybe go home for the day. I could probably get a letter for you from Mrs. Anderson. She feels pretty bad about throwing that third rock. I mean,
Petey, you're an inspiration. I wouldn't have ever done this if it wasn't for you.
that. Thank you.
I, it sounds strange, but I finally feel alive. I feel alive, Petey.
That's kind of ironic because you're almost not.
Oh
Listen,
gosh.
listen, Jimmy, listen to me. I'm sorry. Okay. I I'm only realizing now, maybe I pushed you a little far in this. Maybe I might have been the catalyst that ended up exposing your bone. But look, I looking back, maybe I'm the problem.
What?
Maybe it has nothing to do with the third graders. Maybe it's me trying to control you like they control us.
What? Really?
I don't- Listen. Jimmy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I broke your face by association. I feel really bad. I yeah. I should be more like you. That's what I should be. I should be more like you, Jimmy, because you actually stand up for what you believe in, as opposed to just standing here and telling others to do.
Hey, everybody. My friend Jimmy's got something to say.
Oh, we're doing this. Okay.
And that's my friend Petey.
Yeah. No, okay. Hey everyone.
Oh God, they're hitting me
Oh,
when you talk.
okay. Um, hey everyone. I want to
Get him,
say
Petey.
something
Get him,
on
Petey.
behalf. I want to say something on behalf of my friend Jimmy. The kid you've been throwing rocks at. Okay, we're not going to take this anymore. We are not going to be pushed around, and we are not going to be victims of your rock throwing or your bullying or your power structure within this.
Oh God.
They just keep throwing it at you.
Oh, keep going, Petey.
Oh, okay. We're not going to be victim to any of this anymore. We, the second graders, are standing up for ourselves once and for all. And if you want to throw rocks at us, throw rocks at us. Go ahead. Find the biggest rock you have and throw it at me, because this is a revolution. And you will not change the course of his. Oh my God! Ow! Oh, Jimmy, that one landed right on you. I am so sorry.
Scene. Oh dear, that was a blast.
That was really fun.
The idea of these two standing up at a playground and then just getting pummeled.
Oh yeah.
What were you like as a kid on the playground? Were you like really social? I don't think I was very social on the playground. I like sports. I like playing sports, but I felt like I kind of mostly stuck to myself.
Yeah, I mean, it really sort of depended on the time of my life, because it was basically in elementary school. Yeah, it was like I didn't even really sort of clock that there was a social structure. Really, I was just sort of existing on my own kind of thing. But then by the time I got to like grade school, junior high school, all that sort of thing, I had gone to a private all boys school. And so, of course, that came with its fair share of, toxic behavior and so on and so forth, and expectations, none of which I necessarily subscribe to. But of course, in that kind of environment, you got the ones that pick on you, and then natural reaction, you just turn around and pick on somebody else. So unfortunately, I think I've been on all sides of the situation, and shamefully so. But yes, yeah, but is what it is, I guess.
It's a strange, like, kind of, Lord of the Flies, survival of the fittest.
Oh my God, yeah.
To it as well. of
Well,
like,
and I mean, this was, late 80s going into the 90s
oh,
too. So it was just like, it wasn't exactly the pinnacle moment for society either in regards to, recognizing people. So yeah, yeah.
what brought you into improv? How did you get involved?
So okay, so there's kind of two paths that happened. There was my awareness of like there was the moment that I discovered improv as a performance style, and there was the moment that I discovered like things like Whose Line Is It Anyway and Second City and all that sort of thing. So first off, like I grew up watching SCTV. I mean, that would like around the time that I was a kid, they would play it at lunchtime. So it was like every time I was home from school, I'd just throw on SCTV while I was eating lunch between like before going back. And so I just like immediately, I was like, John Candy's always been my
Oh,
be all and end all comedian. I the way he weaves heart into his
yes.
comedy and never relies on his physiology to be the
Oh my God.
humorous aspect. It was just like blew my mind. And that goes like straight through. Like, I mean, Uncle Buck is one of my favorite movies of all time, and so on and so forth. So just seeing those moments, or that moment in Home Alone with him and Catherine O'Hara when they improvise that scene in the movie, what they're talking about his kid that he left at the funeral parlor, just like it kills me every time.
So good. It's so
Oh,
good.
oh God. Yeah, but yeah. So I grew up, watching SCTV, and over the years, like I just started like drifting from that towards like like Kids in the Hall, and standard path of any kid growing up watching comedy at that time, especially in Canada. And then and yeah, so it was basically I think it was around my 13th birthday, I think it was, that I said to my parents, I was like, I want to do something fun this time. I don't want to go to like a movie with my friends. I don't want to, do all the standard sort of whatever birthday parties. And they were like, well, we know this place that we went to back in the day, and it's like, maybe we should get you tickets to go and see a live comedy show. And I was like, yeah, I would love to see that. And sure enough, we went to the old Fire Hall in Toronto, the original location of Second City in Toronto, and had second row seats. It was like me and 3 or 4 of my friends. Later on in the future, working front of house detail for Second City, I know how much of a nightmare we were in retrospect, but at the time I was just like, oh my God, nachos and sodas, and we get to sit here and watch live comedy. This is amazing. And so yeah, we had this amazing time. And anyway, fast forward a few more years, and I started watching like Whose Line Is It Anyway, and I was like, wow, this is a really great style of comedy. Why don't more people do this? And little did I realize it's its own sort of microcosm within the comedy industry. Anyway, long story short, by about that point, I had gotten to college, and by that point, I had gotten to college, and essentially met a few other people that were studying theater with me, who were very much into Whose Line Is It Anyway and all this sort of thing. So we decided to do sort of our own one-off like drama students night, where we essentially tried to do Whose Line Is It Anyway.
Wait, did you have any coaching or anything, or were you just like,
Zero coaching, zero know-how, zero exposure to any training in improv whatsoever. Long story short, it was basically a really fun 20 to 30 minutes of dick jokes. But
well, wait a minute. A lot of improv can still be that. So
100%. Yeah, I mean, you're talking to a teacher. I mean, it absolutely can. But yeah. So anyway, we did that show, and like all of a sudden, I was just like, oh my God, I really enjoy doing that. Like I like, because at the time, it was like I was studying theater, so I was learning like Shakespeare's. Like I was doing Shakespeare shows, and I was doing fucking what else, like
all the
these
playwrights,
classic works, right? Yeah. We did Spring Awakening one year, and I was just like, God, that was a hell of a lot of stuff to wrap your head around, right?
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, point being is that yeah, after I graduated college, I came back to Toronto, and I was looking for work just to have enough money to move out of my parents' place and get my own place. And first place that caught my eye was Second City, and I was like, wait a second, I remember that place, but this was now downtown at its Blue Jays Way location. And so I was just like, oh my God, like I could work in a comedy venue and be around comedians all the time and learning this art form and blah, blah, blah. And then of course found out that staff got discounts on classes, which was an added bonus. Anyway, long story short, started taking classes, and fast forward a few more years, Second City moved to their third location on Mercer Street. And at that point I was managing the bar, working as a front of house manager, I just finished conservatory. I was taking the writing program classes, and I I started assisting at the summer camps, which then worked my way to being an instructor, and here I am in Hollywood teaching. So yeah.
What's interesting is I know you from Hollywood. So I
Mhm.
know you as a very in-demand teacher and a performer. I don't know you as a front of the house managing the bar, which can be, I mean, that is a completely different skill set in some
Oh yeah.
ways. But
Yeah.
like, there are probably people who would be surprised to know that no, you're actually a performer and teacher because they know you from that part.
Yeah, no, and it is one of those things too. Like, yeah, because I mean, obviously, like a lot of the people I've met down here in LA, I mean, it. Believe me, I love the fact that it's like I came into LA and everybody was just like, no questions asked, like, oh, you're a teacher and performer. Great.
Yes.
Whereas in Toronto, I will say this: as much as I love the comedy industry up there, and I love everyone in the industry up there, and everyone I worked with and didn't even get to work with, there was still that sort of lingering feeling of like, oh, that guy from the bar who also
Right.
does comedy, right?
Right.
So it was a bit of a like having a break out of that shell, but at the same time, you're right. I mean, there are transferable skills. We always talk about improv being so transferable to every walk of life. I mean, try seating 300 people in half an hour, getting all their drink orders in
Nope.
and made and delivered to their table before the
Nope.
show starts,
Nope.
and then dealing with complaints in the process.
Nope.
And you become a pretty quick learner when it comes to improv in those situations. So yeah, it definitely helped. Definitely helped.
And another feather in your cap is you're married to another improviser, which is, dude, kudos, because it's not the easiest thing to do for two improvisers to be in a relationship together. It just isn't. I always joke that like when I coach a team and they ask like, how can we stay together, or what's a key to success? And I go, well, don't date each other is one big key to success. What's the lessons you've taken from improv that have helped you in that relationship as far as maintaining, being married to someone else who is also an improviser?
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, I mean, Leslie is extremely easy to live with. She is a very adaptable person,
Is she there? Is she right there?
she's not actually. I'm saying this free will, but yeah, no, she's actually working at a flower shop right now. But what I was going to say was, yeah, I mean, like, I think probably the there's a couple ways that it could work in your favor that I've learned over the years. First off, Leslie and I weren't performing together when we first started dating. So we had sort of set our own paths and were working
Good.
with our own sketch troops and improv troops and so on and so forth at the same time, but never working together. We only started working together occasionally after we started dating and then got engaged and got married and so on and so forth.
That's
So
smart.
we sort of held off on working together in almost as if it was like the last choice, right?
Sure. Right. Right.
But then once we moved down here to LA, and it's like we had been married for 4 or 5 years by the time we moved down here. And so basically, by the time we moved down here, we were just like, you know what? I mean, you got to make your own work in this town. And we clearly, riff very well together every hour of every day at home,
Right.
which has also helped us to survive the pandemic.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the fun part of it was that was like, then we were just sort of like, well, fuck it, why don't we write a show together? Right. And sure enough, I mean, it wasn't our idea, just the two of us, but it was like, that's when we started working on Canuck as Fuck, which was running at Second City Hollywood for a year and a half, I think.
Great.
And that was
Such a great name.
Oh yeah, and I mean, it was such a fun show though too, because the beauty of it is, and I don't even necessarily know if we clocked this, but by design, it meant that we were hanging out with our friends from Toronto
Yeah.
every week.
It's
And
huge.
so, yeah, and that's one thing, it's like this town can be so isolating when you first move down here. And so you got to find reasons to go out and see people and socialize and perform as well. And to be creating and performing and working with people that we just love so dearly, and get to see them every week, sometimes twice a week, because we were doing a second show later on in that run, which was Welcome to Canada, which was an entirely improvised show with a bigger cast from Canada. But it was amazing, because it was just like it gave us a perfect excuse to go out and socialize, and just keeps you sane and keeps you working, but also doesn't make it reliant upon the couple working together. So
Totally. And there is a slight element in LA I've found of like, like people can be very nice, but it's also like, well, we're trying to do our thing. Nice to see you. We got a thing we're doing. Cool. Like, so you have to find those little groups or those projects you're doing with other people and maintain that and stay active. And when you work with people you have a background of familiarity with, you speak the same language as far as like what you view as funny, it makes it just so much easier. And it makes that, I can't picture what LA was like years ago because improv and sketch is so big now in the town that for a long time it was only solo stuff or one person stuff. So I'm really thankful that I'm here at a time, and I moved out at a time where it was more accepted than before, where it's like, nope, good luck on your own. You got to do it by yourself. And then you end up more in competition, even with friends. Whereas now you can collaborate and it's more rewarding, I feel like.
Yeah, well, and I mean the competition factor too is like, I mean, just to tie that into what we were just talking about prior with couples in comedy as well, is the competition factor is 9 times out of 10 what breaks comedians and what breaks comedy couples and what breaks comedy friendships and everything like this. But at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, granted, yeah, there are situations where sometimes you will be in contention with one another in regards to the things that are happening, but in the case of Leslie and I, it's like, we're not both going out for young dad roles. We're not both, we're not both going out.
You're not yet.
Fair enough. I mean, she might need to grow in the facial hair a bit more to be eligible.
Work.
Exactly, right. But point being is that it's like, yeah, like we're not competing for the same roles, and we constantly remind ourselves of that. And so at the end of the day, when you're in a couple or even in a friendship for that matter, and working with somebody who is booking more work than you are, just recognize the fact that it's like, even being tied to a person who is technically gaining more success than you can still be beneficial, and you can still be happy for them. And that's the thing that's always blown my mind. And technically kind of why I generally avoid competitive improv shows too, is because it's like, it's not what it's about. It's not about fighting each other to get to the top. It should be about lifting each other up, because that's the basis of it all, right? Have your back. So yeah.
I just stopped doing cage matches. I stopped like doing any sort of like competition judgment shows. Now I played, and I love doing a show like Comedy Sports where it's under the guise of a competition, but really at the end it's really not, because like none of those points matter, but because that's how it's set up. But like you're right. To me, it's like, no, the whole point of this is come on in, let's all play together. I'm a big fan of like whoever shows up plays. Let's do that, and let's make what you do look as good as we can, and stop getting in the habit of competing. Even in scenes, you notice that performers and students will like compete for like, well, I got to do a funnier line. And there's a buddy of mine who I listen on this podcast. He's a Second City guy. His name's Shad Kunkel. He's out of Chicago. Great comedy name. And I was talking to him. I heard him on a podcast, and he was so funny. And I said, why did you make this one choice in this podcast? And he goes, well, with the two guys I'm on the podcast with, I'm going to lose if I try to compete with them. So if I try to top what they're doing, he's like, I'm never going to do it because they're just more clever than I am. So I'm going to take this other route. And I'm like, man, I wish a lot of people would understand that more, to be like, it's not a competition thing.
Yeah, no. And I mean, that's actually one of the first things I'll usually tell any of the classes I teach on the very first days. I just sit there and I'm just like, right now, I want everybody to get it out of their head. Nobody here is going to be the funniest in this class. The audience may laugh at one person more than the other on any given night. And that's the way it goes. But ultimately, if you are fighting against each other to be funnier, you are going to be less funny collectively.
I mean, you've done enough shows to be like, some nights the audience connects with you and you can do no wrong. Some nights you might be saying what is the funniest thing or the best thing, and it just doesn't hit with an audience. And then pretty soon I think with experience, you just go, I don't care anymore. I don't care. I'm going to do a show. It's going to be fun with my friends. My highlight of doing shows is talking to people before and after. Like the show's such a small part of it now, whereas maybe it took on bigger meaning when I was first getting started. But now I'm like, I like the before and after a ton.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's kind of why we do it, right? It's just to like keep that community perpetuating itself. And that's sort of the massive appeal of it in the end of it. And yeah, I mean, it is one of those things too, where it's just like, like everybody has bad nights, it's like talk to a stand-up about bombing and they never talk about bombing because it happens all the time. And all you want to do is just remember the good ones. Right. And it's like improvisers are no different. It's like you can go out there and you could have a stacked audience of family and friends and 90% of the time they will support you, but every once in a while you're going to fall on your ass. Right. And it happens. But the biggest thing to remember, and I can't believe I'm about to do this, but I'm going to rip a quote from the movie The Replacements.
Yeah, you are.
Starring Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, you are.
But the scariest thing when it comes to comedy is quicksand, and that is when you start to slip, and the harder you fight to get out of it, the deeper you sink.
But it's so true.
It is. It's 100% true.
Because you're not accepting it, right? You're just fighting it. It's like, just accept it. Like, and that's a huge lesson to learn in improv and life is just accept it. It doesn't mean you're powerless. It actually gives you more power when you accept it.
100%. It's very similar to real life in that matter, where it's like when you can embrace your vulnerabilities as a person, you can become a better person much quicker.
Yeah.
As opposed to sitting there and being like, what? I'm not an asshole. What are you talking about? Like, it's sort of, and then trying to defend your behavior. It's like, guess what? Somebody called you an asshole. Yeah. Own it and accept it.
That's it. Yeah. Where, if people want to connect with you on social media or like reach out to you to take a class or have you coach a team or whatever it is, what's the best way people can get in touch with you?
Best way is probably reaching out to Instagram. I'm Paul PK Kingston. On Twitter, I'm Paul.PK.Kingston. Yeah, you can pretty much find me. I think I've got my headshot for both right now. But yeah, and you can find me on those two social medias. I don't do the TikTok. I'm almost 40. I don't do TikTok. That's just weird. But yeah, outside of that, I generally, when we're back to brick and mortar, I will generally probably be living in the second city building. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. Oh, and also my website, paulpkkingston.com.
Oh, well, dude, what a pleasure. And whether it's in person, virtual, whatever it is, I can't wait to play with you again. Thanks for taking time out, buddy. It's great seeing you.
Thanks for having me, man. It was a nice break from the day. Now I got to go back to working on stupid stuff.
Have fun with that.
Will do.
All right. See you, buddy.
Take it easy.